We got to talk about Cam Newton because he really got himself up there on First Take and said that he would not trade his regular season MVP for a Super Bowl win because he did his job.
If you could give back that league MVP for a Super Bowl championship, would you do it?
No.
Oh, really?
Why?
I'm like, come on, Cam. You can normally see the temperature in the room. You have completely missed this one. There's a couple points about this. First thing is, Super Bowls matter for three people, really. It is quarterbacks, owners, and coaches. Those are the people who get judged by wins and losses in the Super Bowl. And here's where Cam was completely short-sighted on this. Number one is that if Cam Newton and the Panthers had won the Super Bowl, who would have likely been the MVP? Cam Newton. So if Cam Newton doesn't have a regular season MVP, but then has a Super Bowl win and a Super Bowl MVP, now those are different types of accolades. So Cam Newton would be closer to the Hall of Fame with a Super Bowl win and a Super Bowl MVP than he is with the regular season MVP. Prime example, Eli Manning. Look at Eli. There's nothing about Eli Manning's career that is a Hall of Famer except the fact that he has 2 Super Bowl wins and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Because when you play football, aside from when you are a quarterback, I know that everybody will say, oh, team matters. It absolutely does. But your individual statistics and accolades will actually propel you further after football than just being a Super Bowl champion. Look at the graveyard of Super Bowl rings that end up at pawn shops and auctioned off all the time. Super Bowl wins don't pay bills, but you know what does? Hall of Fame. You know what does? MVPs, Heisman trophies, the offensive player of the years, all of that stuff that they can put on the lower third when you're on television or when you are going to go, be a speaker at a conference, any of that stuff. Those are the things that matter the most for non-quarterbacks because quarterbacks are judged by wins and losses. You're judged by Super Bowl wins. Look at how we're talking about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson right now. Lamar Jackson, 2 MVPs, might be 3 MVPs. Oh, but he doesn't have a Super Bowl ring yet. Some kind of way diminishes it. Same way, look at Dan Marino. Imagine how people would look at Dan Marino if he had a Super Bowl win. He would be looked at above Aaron Rodgers. He would be looked at above Brett Favre and a whole bunch of other people, not just by football, like people who know football. Those things matter. And people say, oh, Super Bowl wins. Oh, man. Well, Eli Manning's going to the Hall of Fame off of 2 Super Bowl wins. Are Mario Manningham, who made that incredible catch, going? Nope. David Tyree? Nope. Not going to the Hall of Fame. But you know what? They would be better off if they had a league MVP or offensive player of the year, any of that. This actually reminds me of a conversation that I had with a former teammate. I think it was after my rookie year. It was with big bro, tight end Kyle Brady. He had been in the league for a long period of time. And I think my rookie year, we either went 4-12 or 5-11. And at the end of the year, we're packing up our stuff. This is after the season is over with, like the last day when you do your exit interviews, check out all that stuff. And I came back in the locker room and I was like, man, this season sucked. He was like, you're right. I said, man, you know what, Kyle? I would actually rather us had gone 0-16 and I make the Pro Bowl or be all pro than have these four wins. Oh, I was called all. He told me I was selfish, that I wasn't a team guy, any of that stuff. But when you think about it, right? And the way I thought about it was, even we were at 4 or 5 wins. But imagine at that point in time, the NFL has 16 games. Let's say you go 8-8 and miss the playoffs. That was my explanation to him. I said, my team goals are number one, right? But if we don't reach our team goals, at least let me reach my personal goals. Because being 8-8, according to Kyle, was, well, we're getting that much closer to a Super Bowl. I was like, we missed the playoffs. There ain't no difference if we go 8-8 or have the first pick. And if we have the first pick, at least we get a better draft pick or something to make the team better. I said, at least let me get my personal goal so then I can get my money up. Because at the end of the day, I tell this to young players all the time. Yes, your money matters, but everybody in the NFL, and I'm not talking about college football, high school football, because those have to be significantly more about team. But in the NFL, you are mercenaries for a collective goal for one season. That's it. Not for a career, not for 2 years, not for 3 years. For one season, you got all these mercenaries collect, including the coaches, because as soon as everybody gets a better opportunity, they up out of there. That's why you're mercenaries. So yes, your money has to, and your opportunity, happiness, all of those things have to be paramount to you. And if you get to your team goals along the way, that's a hell of a win. But Cam Newton, this is where he missed the bus. I'm like, come on, man. And it looked so bad for Cam, especially being that he didn't dive on that fumble. Because now people are thinking, oh, Cam, who anybody I talked to, Jonathan Stewart, talked to Greg Oles, anybody I've talked to about Cam Newton, they talk about how great of a teammate he is and all of those things. So, but it gets lost in the fact he didn't dive on that fumble. And now he says he would rather have a regular season MVP. So now people are thinking, wow. So he would have dove on that ball to get a regular season MVP, but he won't dive on that ball to win a Super Bowl. That's what the natural thought is, even though Cam Newton, by all accounts, great teammate. So that's the issue, is Cam is not looking at it from a quarterback perspective. He's looking at it from a tight end perspective. Would it be better for me to either be like George, Super Bowl champion tight end, or is it better offensive MVP, two-time all pro? Which one is better for me in terms of making money after football? That Super Bowl championship, yeah, it don't matter, but unless you the MVP, it don't matter that much. It matters significantly less for every other position than it does for the quarterback. Nobody's sitting here saying, oh my God, imagine what we would think about Barry Sanders or Randy Moss if they had won a championship. What? Nobody's saying that. Nobody's talking about, oh my God, imagine how we would look at Munoz or Tony Baselli or anybody else had they won a championship. Don't nobody care. Nobody cares about it except for the quarterback position and the head coaches. They'll get in the Hall of Fame. Mike, and I mentioned Eli Manning earlier. You got the head coach, Tom Coughlin. Babe, oh man, Hall of Fame. Or the owners. Owners get in the Hall of Fame for winning championships. But championships don't pay bills. And that's why you are supposed to think about the team in that season and your own personal goals. But you should be looking at what is best for you as an individual, because playing in the NFL is a job. It is not a career. A career is being a doctor, being a lawyer, being an engineer, being an architect, anything that you can do for 20, 30, 40 years. That's a career. A job is something where the average career is like 3.3, 3.4 years. That's what it is. That's the difference. So Cam, come on, man, you missed the boat on this one, man. You have completely missed the boat, and coaches, the media, everybody, and I tell this to younger players too, is that they have been brainwashed and manipulated. When you get to thinking that for some reason that winning a championship is more valuable to you than anything else, look at the Kansas City Chiefs. How valuable is winning a Super Bowl to Travis Kelce's career compared to Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes, could be the greatest of all time. Yes, the playoff stats matter for Travis Kelce, but what are the most important things that have happened to Travis Kelce? He had a reality dating show in terms of his fame and accolade, marketability and all that stuff. He's the tight end for Patrick Mahomes. If Travis Kelce is the tight end over in Seattle, if he's the tight end in Chicago, no matter if he's a Hall of Famer, he ain't getting all of this same pub. None of that stuff. It's the dating show. It's standing next to Patrick Mahomes and catching balls from Patrick Mahomes and dating Taylor Swift. Dating Taylor Swift trumps everything he did on the field. But catching balls from Patrick Mahomes, it matters. Same thing with Jerry Rice and Joe Montana and vice versa. Those things matter. So Cam, come on, man, don't miss the boat.